So how to start your own scrub or medical uniform business. Hi, my name is Michael with IamNursing.com, and I want to be able to share with you guys through this Nurse Entrepreneur video series on how you can start actually open up your own business or make extra money on the side selling nursing uniforms. So to give you guys a background on why I have experience in this is because I do, right? And you're probably looking at me like, Michael, you're a guy. What do you know about selling scrubs? Well, I actually did, but it all started with my mom. So my mom has been a nurse for a long period of time, and she's been such a hustler. She's, other than working the floor, she would sell anything, bring stuff from home, sell it to people and stuff like that, buy things wholesale, buy things at, those wholesale places and sell it at, over at where she was working, whether it's a hospital or the nursing home. So towards the late 90s, my sister was gonna go into med school, and we just knew that it was gonna cost a lot of money, and my mom and dad made a determination that we need to be able to make more money to be able to afford and help my sister out. And so they kind of sat down and talked about, like, how do we get into business again. And my parents has opened multiple businesses in the past. Like I've said in one video, my mom during the early 70s to the mid 80s actually had her own nurse staffing agency. My dad had a jewelry store. So we've always been kind of exposed to entrepreneurship and know that if you want to make extra money, you better hustle a little bit, right? So what my mom did was she came up with the idea and said, we should sell nursing uniforms, and how do we sell it? Well, we'll just bring it. I'll just bring it with me to work, and and people will buy. And and that's what she always did. And so what she did was she went to Walmart. She purchased just one of those cheap $99 sewing machines, and she was able to actually get and purchase the what do you call this thing? If you go to Walmart, you go to the sewing section, you can actually try to think of the word here. Oh yeah. It's the template on how to make for a scrub. It tells you what parts are. They give you this little sheet, and you cut it out, and then you go ahead and make the scrubs that way, so you know how to cut it and the sizing. So what she did was she bought one of those, and what she did was she just started, and then she bought like really cheap rolls of cloth at Walmart as well, whichever was the cheapest at that very moment. And she would cut them up, and then she started sewing it up together. And she, within less than a week, she was able to make like about 40 scrub tops, right? We weren't selling scrub pants in the beginning. And so whatever was the cheapest rolls of cloth, she would purchase those, and then she would sew it. And then she would, of course, sell the scrub tops for between $10 to $15 a pop. And what ended up happening was, people were just buying it because it was very original. Like I still remember she had, one imprint that was, chiclets, and another imprint. It was like all these, weird designs, but people actually loved that. And so people started purchasing it. And so, she started realizing that, oh my God, we can actually start doing this. And then my dad, was like, okay, well, I want to help out. So my mom showed him how to actually sew things, but eventually they created one of those, a little like assembly line where my dad would cut the prints, would cut the templates, and then my mom would sew it up together. And that was just that. And then eventually what ended up happening was, to make it even better, is my mom bought this thing called a serger, right? And from then, she was able to make the things look even better. And by this time, I was already a nurse as well. Around 99, I passed. I was already I was in nursing school already. I passed, and so I started working as a nurse already. But of course, my mom could only make so much between my mom and dad. And I actually even helped out, cutting some of the templates out. And as that progressed around 1999, my mom says, well, we need to be able to make more, because a lot of other nurses were like, well, I want to make money on the side. I want to sell it where I'm working at. So then my mom, we decided to then, open up a sewing business in the Philippines and start having it made there, okay? And then we started having them shipped over here to the States, and then my mom would just distribute it and sell it. And then people were actually buying a lot and then sell it themselves. And I still remember my dad would, I would go with my dad in the middle of the winter and snow and just like crazy. And we would actually go to people's homes and drop off scrubs so that they can sell it themselves. So it was like a mini delivery system that we've actually had. But then also we started having problems, and some of the problems that we were having was customs, right? Sometimes it gets held up in customs and we can't get the supplies. Towards 2000 and early 2000, I ended up becoming a travel nurse, and then I actually ended up in California. And my parents were starting this business, and then around this time they actually also opened up a Filipino grocery business. But then they also had like little tchotchkes that they would sell. And part of that was nursing uniforms, because a lot of Filipinos are nurses, a lot of Filipinos are in the healthcare field. So it was a good place to also sell our product, to display them, to sell them in regular pricing from $12 to $15 a top, and then at the same time as people would sell it for us as well. And we started having problems in regards for distribution and in regards for bringing them in, because they were getting stuck in the customs sometimes, and we even had one shipment that got stuck for 6 months. So that can get a little bit difficult. And then when I was actually walking around in California, I was in one of those discount malls, those flea markets, and this person was selling nursing uniforms, and he got a shipment in of nursing uniforms, and it just hit me. I was like, well, okay, wait a minute. Maybe we can purchase from distributors. And I remember when he wasn't looking, I started writing down the address and the phone number of this company. And I don't mind sharing with you guys. The name of the company is called Sheehan's Medical Uniforms. You look them up. You can purchase from them, by bulk, and then sell it yourself, right? And they have a lot of different products in there. So, because much props to Sheehan, they have been with us for so long and helped us so much. So I want to be able to shout out and give you guys that information, and just tell them that you saw it in this video. So anyways, moving on. That's how I contacted them, and I was like, okay, well, how much does it cost? And around this time, when we're trying to find out the pricing from them, there was a flood in the Philippines, and actually all of our equipment got messed up, right? So it was like a blessing in disguise. So then we started speaking to Sheehan, scrub distributors and stuff like that, and we started purchasing scrubs from them, and we were getting it for cheap, for $5, and then even we were getting them for like $9 a set for top and bottoms, right? And then we would just turn around and sell that for 20, 25 for a set, and then wholesale it for like about 15. And so that's what was going on. And then we started having that, amazing thing. And I used to remember, my mom, I would, when I come by to visit, I would drop my mom off to work. My mom will have, her nursing bag, but then have 2 duffel bags full of nursing scrubs and walking into work. Like, just imagine a nurse walking with 2 duffel bags and, another bag, for their, their nursing bag. And so it's really funny, because during the break time, my mom would distribute it to people would buy, and so that's how that pretty much grew. And it was really funny, we had in our Filipino grocery store, we ended up having to split it up a little bit. One side was pretty much just gift items, one side was a grocery. I mean, by that point, we were the medical scrub uniform store that people went to, because they can get it really cheap, and if people want it, they can actually get a discount if they ask for it, right? So we didn't mind haggling with people. And so that's how that kind of grew. And, and the money was really, really good, but the money was still good, selling, on the side. Because a lot of you guys are saying, well, Michael, I'm not going to sell, while I'm at work. I'm like, listen, how many people do you know that are Avon salespeople? How many people do you know are part of Mary Kay? How many people do you see, selling, for example, those gift baskets and all these different things, at work, right? People do it, right? So, I remember we were averaging selling like about, my mom would sell somewhere around between 50 to about 100 scrubs just at work in a week. And the profit was like around $5 to $6, depending, unless if they buy a set. And so there was money that was being made. But here's the thing, guys, to be honest, if this is something that you want to do, I would truly look at opening up a store, because that's what we did. When we had the store, that's when we were maximizing that stuff. And we were selling somewhere close to about 300 sets of scrubs, meaning 300 tops, 300 bottoms in average. So pretty much about 600 units a week. And of course, we did advertising. Of course, we did word of mouth. Of course, we were calling facilities up. And so, so eventually we had facilities ordering from us for their staff. and it just pretty much started up from there. And it was an amazing time. And once again, if you decide to keep the business such as that, then you have every right to do that. Just have one business. But for my family, it's always been an evolution. It's like, what's the next step? And so we were able to use all the different businesses that we opened up as a springboard to open up the next business. And so that's something you guys all should look at, right? If you start a business, if you do, let's say, for example, a scrub uniform business, don't just be one of those people that sells scrub uniforms. Make sure you have multiple things that you can sell within the business that you guys open up. Just think about it. If you go, for example, to Michael's, I was just at Michael's the other day, right? Those the craft stores. They have everything crafty that you can purchase, flowers, pots, whatever you want in crafts. But when you get to checkout lane, all of a sudden they have chocolates, all of a sudden they have drinks, all of a sudden they have little snacks that they're selling. Those are not craft items, but those are additional items that they can make money. And trust me, every time when I went to Michael's, I was thirsty, right? So I bought a drink, I bought a Sour Patch pack, and had that on the road when I was driving home. So when you create businesses, you always want to make sure that you don't just remain into just selling that one thing. Think about Amazon. They first started by selling just books. Now pretty much you can get anything that you want in Amazon. And so those are just little tips I want to be able to share with you guys. If you want to make it a side hustle, just sell scrubs on the side, then that's perfectly fine. You can actually do that. Now, if you want to make it a more major business, then that's something that you have to be able to decide to do. But I will tell you guys, we started this business from zero to selling 600 units a week, right? Plainly just because by purchasing a $99 sewing machine, right? And I think it was like $10 to be able to get the scrub template that my mom wanted. And it just pretty much moved on from there. So that what happened during let me see here. That happened they started sewing around 97. We had the physical scrub uniform store around 2000 is when 1999 it was first opened up. So that's pretty much the journey that I had in regards for medical uniforms. Now let's say, for example, you want to add stuff. What do nurses need? Well, they need stethoscopes, they need pen lights, they need pens. There's so many different things. Just actually here, do this. Go to one of those medical scrub uniform stores that you're buying, where you buy from right now. Go to them and you see all the variety that they have, and also think about what else can you sell within that, right? So a good way to look at it, if you're purchasing, honestly, and this is the truth, if you purchase a medical scrub uniform, more likely they are tacking on 100% profit on you. That's why when they go 50%, when they say, okay, there's 25% off, they're still making money off you. That's pretty much the business of retail, right? And some items you can actually mark up 150%, 200%. So like, for example, if I'm getting a good deal at Shein, for example, and I purchase something and all of a sudden it has a special, and they say, okay, sometimes I would buy a set of scrubs, one of those off colors that's not moving fast. We'll buy for $5 for a whole set sometimes, as long as we purchase a minimum of maybe 100 sets. We'll purchase that $5. I'll still price it at $20 for the whole set. So that right there is showing 150% profit markup. Even if I give it for 50% off when I put it in the rack and say this is our 50% off deals, when people purchase that, I'm still making 100% profit on what I should, on what I purchased it for. So it was still a profit that we were making. So that's some thinking that you guys should actually have, right? So I hope this video helped you guys out. If you're thinking about starting your own scrub uniform, please let us know. Make a comment down below, send us an email. My job is to be able to help you guys create success in your life, whether to be able to give you advice in nursing or to be able to give you guys advice such as this in nurse entrepreneurship. This is Michael, and thank you so much, and please subscribe.